Knock, knock. Who's there? Yeah! Yahoo! Wow, I'm glad to see you too! One more. Knock, knock. Who's there? Cow says. Cow says who? No! Cow says moo! Knock, knock. Who's there? Iva! Iva who? I've a sore hand from too many knock-knocks. Oh my goodness, boys and girls, isn't it crazy how knock-knocks could be so much fun and silly too? You laugh even when they're not so funny because they're so silly. Laughing is good for us. It's exercise, and we need all the exercise we can have right now with all this hanging around that we've been doing. That makes me think of today's big idea. Why, I went to my mailbox and I found the big idea in my mailbox. Just a minute, I'm going to read it to you, but first I need to put on my big idea glasses. There we go. Yeah, here it is. That's right, I got it right here. And it says, God prepares and equips us for every part of His plan for our lives. God prepares and equips us for every part of His plan for our lives. Huh, who would have thought? God prepares us with knock-knock jokes. That's right, because it's exercise. It exercises our tummies, and it exercises our lungs, and it exercises our mouth as we smile. Kind of makes me think of Moses. Remember last week's story? Did you watch it? Well, Moses was running away from Pharaoh because he had killed an Egyptian. And he went and he had to take care of sheep for 40 years. That's right, that's a long time. 40 years. But just like our big idea, God prepares us with every detail in our lives. And so God helped Moses to get ready to take care of the children of Israel, because with the sheep he always had to find a safe place to bring them, making sure there was no wolves, making sure there were no bugs or anything that could harm them. But you know what, boys and girls? Moses didn't think he was good enough. Do you sometimes feel that way? Have you felt that way in gym class? When everybody else could skip with the skipping rope and you couldn't? Or at track and field, when your friends could run so fast and you couldn't? Or on a test when everybody did so well and you didn't do so good? Did you feel like you weren't good enough? It's okay. Moses felt that way too. In fact, today we're going to find out in the story that he didn't think he was good enough at all, and he had to ask for somebody to help him. You know what? God gave him somebody. You'll see who that person is soon. But for now, I'm going to go check on Marshal. He's sitting by the fireplace and roasting marshmallows. Why? Oh, you'll find out soon enough. But let's listen to this song and see how God makes us brave as I hit that dance floor button.
I stand before you now. The greatness of your renown. I've heard of the majesty and wonder of you, King of heaven. In humility I bow as your love in wave after wave crashes over me, crashes over me. For you are for us, you are not against us. Champion of heaven, you made a way for all to enter in. I have heard you calling my name. I have heard the song of love that you sing. Oh, so I will let you draw me out beyond the shore into your grace. Oh, your grace, as your love in wave after wave crashes over me, crashes over me. For you are for us, you are not against us. Champion of heaven, you made a way for all to enter in. You make me brave, you make me brave. You call me out beyond the shore into the waves. You make me brave, you make me brave. You call me out beyond the shore into the waves. You make me brave, you make me brave. No fear can hinder now the promises you made. You make me brave, you make me brave. No fear can hinder now the love that made a way. As your love in wave after wave crashes over me, crashes over me. For you are for us, you are not against us. Champion of heaven, you made a way. As your love in wave after wave crashes over me, crashes over me. For you are for us, you are not against us. Champion of heaven, you made a way. Champion of heaven, you made a way for all to enter in.
Wasn't that a great song, boys and girls? You make me brave. Yes, God makes us brave when things around us seem too difficult to do, like homework, like saying a speech at school in front of your friends. God makes us brave. Marshall and I are just here roasting some marshmallows by a fire. The fire reminded me of when Moses brought his flock of sheep to Midian. When he was there, he looked off in the distance and he saw a bush burning. Could you believe it, boys and girls? Concerned that his sheep might not be safe, He ran to see what this strange thing was. How could a bush be burning the way that this one was? You see, have you ever been to a campfire? Or maybe gone camping with your mom and dad? And your dad and your brother make the fire with pieces of wood? What happens to the wood? Burns up. That's right. Until sometimes there's nothing left of the wood if you keep the fire burning long enough. Or like our marshmallow, it cooks it. Well, when Moses got to the bush was all in flames, but it wasn't burning. Not one piece of the branches on that bush had burned. Moses was amazed. God demonstrates his power because God created fire. And God wanted to show Moses how he was in control of that fire. And he could make that fire do anything he wanted, even if that was burning the bush without burning any of the branches. See, I'm in control of my marshmallow. I could let it toast, but I can stop it from burning. Like our memory verse for today, Psalm 9, verse 10. Those who know your name put their trust in you. That's right, boys and girls. You see, if we know Jesus and we know God, we know that we can put our trust in him. Moses learned that in today's story. Let's give a listen in to see what happened when he approached the bush and he learned the name of God that he can put his trust in.
One day, Moses decided to take his flock of sheep away from Midian to the far side of the wilderness towards Mount Sinai. Though this journey was unfamiliar to his sheep, they trusted Moses. For more than 40 years, Moses had learned the confidence and compassion of a good shepherd. He led and protected his sheep. God was using Moses' time as a shepherd to prepare him for an incredible task. Moses was going to lead God's people out of slavery and into freedom. As Moses led his sheep, they eventually came to a canyon near the base of Mount Sinai. It was surrounded by a range of smaller hills, so it would be safe, and it had some grass for his sheep to graze. As Moses searched the area for wolves and other dangers, he noticed off in the distance a large bush covered in flames. Moses rushed towards it. As he neared the bush, he could see that it was burning. But the fire did not destroy it. Alarmed and curious, Moses moved even closer. Suddenly, a voice came out of the bush. Moses! Moses! Don't come any closer. Take off your shoes, because the place you are standing on is holy. Moses fell back in awe and did as the voice commanded, taking off his sandals and bowing low. Moses gave this strange and wonderful sight his full attention, and the voice continued to speak. I am the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. God speaking to me? Moses trembled. He did not dare to even look. The Lord God continued, I have seen the sorrow of my people who are in bondage under Egypt's great power. I have heard their cry, and I am familiar with their pain. It is time for me to deliver them. Moses continued as God spoke. "Get ready! I am sending you to Pharaoh to set my people free." Long ago, Moses had dreamed of helping his people, but so much time had passed and Moses was uncertain. He asked, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and lead your people out of Egypt?" God assured him, "I am with you, and I am going to prove it by bringing my people safely out of Egypt." Moses continued to hesitate. "What shall I tell the children of Israel when they ask who you are and what your name is?" God replied, "Tell them, I am who I am has sent you." Then he added, "Tell them that this will be my name forever." But Moses became afraid and wondered how he could do this. The Egyptians hated him, and the Hebrews, his own people, despised him. But God assured Moses that he would go with him. Still Moses was afraid and asked, "But what if they don't believe me?" God answered, "Throw your staff onto the ground." Moses did just as he was told, and it became a live snake. Then God ordered him to pick up the snake, and it became a staff again. God showed him another sign. "Put your hand into your coat and pull it out." When he did, his hand was full of leprosy sores. God instructed him, "Do it again," but this time the leprosy disappeared. Seeing these miracle signs would be clear to the Hebrews and the Egyptians that God was with Moses. But Moses was still afraid and too terrified to speak to Moses. I'm not a very good speaker," he argued. But now God was angry at his unbelief and reminded Moses that he, the God of the universe, had created Moses and prepared him for what he was called to do. Even so, God assigned Aaron, Moses' brother, to be a spokesman and to support Moses in the days ahead. And so Moses returned to his flock of sheep and safely to their home with his brother Aaron. They left on the great adventure. He would shepherd the people of Israel, deliver them out of the slavery of Egypt, and lead them safely to the land of promise that God had for them. Marshall, would you like to say our prayer today?
Okay. Dear Lord, thank you for revealing yourself through your Son, by your word, through your creation, and by the very definition of your name. Thank you that we can have a personal relationship with you. Help us to put our trust in you, the great I am. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Wow, Marshall, I love that story, didn't you? Yeah, when I was a kid, I thought it was so cool when my parents would get to the part of the story where the bush would be on fire. Yeah, but the fire wouldn't burn up the bush. Wasn't that neat? Yeah, and then I finally realized that was God showing Moses how powerful he was. You see, boys and girls, Moses was afraid, and God needed Moses to understand when you're afraid, you can trust in his power. you can trust him to make you brave. And so he showed Moses when he laid down his staff, and he turned his staff into a snake. And then he put his hand in his coat, and when he came out, it had sores all over it. And then when he put it back, it came out, and it was all gone. That was God showing Moses how powerful he was. But Moses still didn't think he was good enough, did he? No. He had to ask God for Aaron to help him. But boys and girls, God doesn't waste any details of your life. Everything that you go through in life, God will use to equip you to do something great, something marvelous, something powerful to show that He is God and He's working through you. That's right. Remember our big idea. God doesn't waste the details. He equips us and He uses every part of our lives for His plan. That's right, Marshall, because God prepares and equips us for every plan for our lives. That's right, His plan for our lives. And Psalm 9, verse 10, our memory verse, says that for all those who know His name and put their trust in Him, He will not forsake those who seek Him. Yeah. Well, boys and girls, we've come to an end, so knock, knock. Who's there? Boo! Boo-hoo! Boo-hoo! We're sad to see you go too. So, from me, Pastor Melodie and Marshal, bye-bye!
Bye-bye.